Okay, so in language this week, on Monday it's to have our reading buddies from Lee Academy coming. So they'll be here on the Monday, and that will kind of take over our first morning block, which usually is our writer's workshop. But I am going to do writer's workshop just in the middle piece, and we're going to look at questions versus predictions, and it's going to tie in with Mrs. Wedgwood and the fact that she's not at school and where she is, and kind of making some writing her some questions that she might be able to answer when she gets back, but also making some predictions about what she might see and what she might do when she's away. And on Tuesday, I plan on kind of adding to this when we take a look at some forecasts. So taking a look at the forecast for Hamilton versus the forecast for where she is, and then revising our questions and our predictions, and then really working on some of those conventions. I've been trying to really emphasize those spaces, capitals, periods, and so I'd really like to kind of emphasize it as we're doing some of our writing this week, and this writing would tie in nicely with that. So then on Wednesday, it's our Wonder Wednesdays, and we did write some wonders last week, and I'd like to look at how we can together answer one of those questions and how we can put our thinking into some kind of written form. So we can look at what those different written forms might be to kind of explain our thinking. And for some people, they may want to generate some more wonders or questions that they have. Maybe I'll read a book too that will really kind of generate some that goes with it. But for others, they may want to try to answer some of them and also share what they've learned. And then on Thursday, I'm thinking we can recount the week for Mrs. Wedgwood. And how can we share this? So again, it can go looking at some different kinds of writing forms and what those forms look like, and how they can write with it. And then again, I can kind of emphasize some of the conventions that go with it too. So in math this week, Monday we're going to have a shorter math block because with the reading buddies it kind of changes around the schedule a bit. But I plan on us testing out our cars and our boats, and I guess that should be boats with an S, and compare how far and why. And then on Friday we had done a little bit with looking at 1 meter and what was less and more than a meter. So I kind of want to wrap up our thinking on that, look at why that information may matter and how it could help us out. So then on Tuesday, I've got a little bit of a different kind of activity for us to do. I'd like us to look, and I'm going to link it to Goldilocks and the Three Bears. But the idea of building a bed for, and I'm going to have a few different stuffed animals of various sizes. So this can actually wrap in a little bit with the idea of proportional reasoning as well. But how they can create the bed and what materials they might use and which one would support the animal the best and why, because it needs to be able to support them. So we can look a little bit at that concept of weight measurement too, but then also looking at the size measurements and how they vary between the sizes of the bears. So we can also compare that piece as well. And then I guess we could even tie it into our own bed sizes too, and how we can use our own, that those sizes vary depending on the size of the people in the bed. So then we can look at Wednesday, and I want us to get into a little bit with our math art. We're just about at the point, I know we started a while ago and we kind of added a little bit more to it as we went based on some student interest, but I do want to show off our gallery. So some of them have done some math stuff, but we kind of moved on a little bit in terms of some of our learning that has gone with it. So I'd like to kind of add to our math art piece, and I'm going to be at training in the afternoon. So there'll probably be a supply teacher for portion of this, so the students can kind of add their further thoughts and their further ideas through their math art that we can then hang in our gallery and start to think about how this art makes them feel, because these feelings will link to the music that we make. And on Thursday, I want us to look a little bit at the music, and I'll probably do a little bit on Thursday and finish it off on Monday, but creating the music to accompany our art based on the different feelings. So thinking about how it might vary in the different types that we should have and how we can set it up and things like that. So some of that thinking piece will also come in on Thursday. Thinking on Thursday. So then the other thing this week is the word wall words. I really want them to play a little bit with words. This is where we get into a bit with our word families, but it's been neat to kind of use the word wall as a jumping off spot for this, and then look at changing the letters and sounds for the word families, which also gets into the whole idea of the phonemic awareness. So, I want to add some more word wall words to our word wall this week and review the ones that are already up there and then look at how we can change them. And we do have a word family poem as well, so we can look at that and generate some other word family words too. So that can kind of all tie in together this week for our shared reading before we kind of get into our more independent reading and guided reading too. And I'm also going to finish off DRA this week just for the few students that were away.